What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are reviewing that's right, I finally found one, the Dart Zone Max NitroShot VENOM Pro. And this is definitely the release that I'm most excited about. This is the one I've been waiting for. This thing looks awesome, and I cannot wait to put it to the test. If this is doing what I think it's gonna do for $50, we have ourselves a winner, guys. So let's check this baby out. So the VENOM Pro is a full auto flywheel blaster. It even shows you the internals right here, which is really cool. Uses a worm gear to power gears for the pusher, which is a good system, I think. Definitely better than a rack and pinion. So like that setup. It comes with a rechargeable battery that has an XT30 connector, so then you can swap this out and put LiPo batteries in there if you have that chemistry. So that's really awesome. And this is slinging brand new darts that they just came out with. They're new bamboo darts, and they are heavier, which is a plus because I like bamboo darts that they've released in the past, but they're just too light and they're not very accurate. So I'm hoping these are much more accurate. This is saying we're gonna get ranges of 130 feet, but it does not show any FPS claims on the box that I see, which is interesting. It does say 14 and up, so we know this thing is gonna be hitting pretty hard. Let's go ahead and check out the back of the box. Back of the box, you get your iPro, which is awesome. All of these Pro blasters, I think, come with iPro, which is great, because highly recommend always wearing iPro, no matter what the FPS cap is. Shows you the blaster, the brand new darts, which are awesome. The internals, again, of the blaster, your battery, your charger for the battery, and 2 magazines. You're gonna get 2 magazines with this. That is so much that you're gonna get for $50. And I think that is just so awesome for Dart Zone to include so much for such a great price. Really, really excited to see that. Also, looks like we're getting a target with this box here. You can punch this out and create a target, and we may check that out in the future here. I don't know if this is gonna hold up too well to that, but we should find out. It should be fun. Let's go ahead and crack this baby open. And there we go. That's everything we get in the package, all for $50. Blaster, 2 mags, iPro, darts, 24 of them, and a rechargeable battery. Awesome. Also some instructions. All right, so here's the VENOM Pro. We already have the battery on the charger, so we'll be fully charged to do a chronograph test and a firing demo and a range test and an accuracy test of this bad boy. But let's go over the features of the blaster real quick. This thing is very small, a great little sidearm, a little smaller than I actually expected it to be. And this is similar to the Worker Nightingale, if you're familiar with that. It uses the same kind of magazines as the Nightingale, except these are 12 round, Nightingale 15. I do think these are higher quality magazines, but these are compatible, so that's awesome. So if you have a Nightingale, your magazines will work. If you don't have a Nightingale, you can purchase Nightingale magazines separately and have extra mags on top of your already 2 magazines for this blaster. So that's awesome, and you have a little more capacity. The front part of the blaster here removes with a thumb screw. Thank you for including a thumb screw and not just a screw. This is so much easier to remove. You don't need a tool to do so. And that is where you will put your rechargeable battery into the XT30 connector, but you could also use a LiPo in there. This is a 7.4 battery, so a 2S LiPo would probably be recommended for this, although you may be able to use a 3S LiPo, and we will test that out too, but I cannot guarantee you that that won't hurt your motors. Use at your own risk, I guess is my point, if you want to do a 3S LiPo. But I will put a link in the description to where you can pick up a 2S LiPo that will fit in here. I do think that the front barrel is interesting. This whole thing is not faux barrel, which is awesome. Unlike what Nerf did with the Cinder, this front part here, there's only a short piece. I can't really tell how long it is, but maybe a ½ inch or so of faux barrel. And then the rest of this is a much wider bore, so your dart should not contact this at all. So that basically doesn't act as any barrel in that region. So that's really nice. Should help out accuracy and performance. We do have a full Picatinny rail on top here with a sling point on the back part. There is a sight sort of thing here, which is not amazing, but you know what? I'm not really going to complain about that, given the fact of all that you get with this blaster. Most people are going to put their own thing on there. It's kind of hard to maneuver. There you go. We can move it up. Makes a little more sense to have it up there on the front for your front optic, but it does work. So, I mean, I've seen worse sights. It does hold on well, so not bad. Rev trigger is very interesting with this blaster. This back portion is your rev trigger, so when your webbing actually pushes that to rev the blaster, and then you will fire with the trigger. Mag release is right here. You push that, and that allows your magazine to fall right out. So that is really cool. You can just go and reload. But I wouldn't recommend that either unless you're in an area where this isn't gonna break, because these probably won't do well hitting hard concrete. That being said, the new Nightingale mags have bumpers, so that will be helpful as long as it hits on the bottom. So that's pretty cool, but these do not have any sort of bumper on them. I'm not sure if the Nightingale bumpers would fit on here. Something maybe to test in the future. We do have a safety right here. I believe this is safe, and this is fire, which is what the F stands for, fire, S stands for safe. So we'll have to put that into fire mode to be able to fire the blaster, but obviously we'll need that battery first. I actually do like the look of this blaster. I love the fact that it's size appropriate for a sidearm. It's not overly sized. It has venting on the side here, and that will allow your motors to breathe, which is really cool. You also have venting on this side, although the blaster is not symmetrical, but I actually like that this is flat because it should allow us to be able to adapt some sort of magnet holster to this guy, and that will be pretty sweet. I'm sure somebody's working on that already. Pretty excited about this, and let's go ahead and put it over the chronograph. Okay, we're going to test 3 different types of darts here, but we're going to start out with the, of course, bamboo darts that come with the blaster. I shot 12 shots over the chronograph and received an average of 128 FPS, so right around 130, just below. Pretty darn good and amazing for HVZ, which is usually a 130 cap, so that's definitely a plus for me. Here we're testing the new Nerf Pro darts, and once again we got very good FPS readings right at the same number, and again averaging 128 FPS. This blaster is pretty easy to single shot, which is nice. I do like that, but every now and then I would get a double shot. Just keep that in mind. Worker darts, HE Gen 3s, shot actually a little lower FPS, averaging 10 FPS less at a 118 FPS, but still good performance and works just fine. But I did have an issue with my magazine here, which is one of the things I've had trouble with the Nightingale mags, and why I don't use my Nightingale is because their magazines seem to jam. So I really do like the Dart Zone mags better than the worker mags, at least the ones I have, but these were the original ones, so maybe they've improved on that design, I am not sure. Now we're going to shoot full auto just to show you that kind of rate of fire and kind of the FPS drop over the chronograph when you do full auto. Still pretty darn good. This thing does really well because of that rechargeable battery. And here we're doing an accuracy test, shooting at a target probably about 20 feet away, so not super far, but it is a very small target, and as you can see, for a flywheel blaster, this thing is pretty darn accurate. We'll shoot full auto here, and it's a pretty straight line. I would say very impressive. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put some shots on the range with the Venom Pro, see if it's getting those 130 feet that are estimating. We're gonna do flat shots and angled with all 3 types of darts, starting with the bamboo Dart Zone darts that come with the blaster. Let's see what this baby's got. All right, Nerf Pro darts. not bad. Worker Gen 3 HE darts. Here we go. All right, usually you can single fire this thing, but every now and then it wants to pop off too. That's just kind of how it goes, but not bad for a full auto blaster. I like the rate of fire of this thing. Let's go check those things out. All right, you guys, so ranges are stretched out maybe, I don't know, 20 yards, maybe 15, we'll see. Shortest is right here though, so we'll take a shot from the shortest one. That says 25 yards, so 75 feet from the very shortest one. We'll go in the middle. This is where most of the, well, let's go right here. This is where most of the dart zone darts were. So maybe just a little bit past that. So maybe a couple, maybe 5 feet past. Yeah, 26 yards. So 3, 4, 5 feet. And we'll go up here. The Nerf darts and the worker darts are more around in this range average. So probably, what, 30 yards or so? 30 yards right here. So, you know, that's pretty darn good. Go up here to the angled shots. Here we go. So we have a mixture of them. I got a worker and a dart zone, but they're all pretty similar. I mean, I can't say that these were that much different. Maybe my flat was a little off there. I feel like they're all fairly similar. There was one worker dart, a couple worker darts way up there. I feel like the worker darts are the longest, even though the FPS was the least, which is interesting. But we'll get a shot here from about the middle of these, and then we'll go and see what those furthest ones did. 45 yards, so that's pretty darn good. And up here, 51 yards. So that's really impressive. That's over 150 feet. So that's not bad at all. Definitely getting the ranges they estimated though, that 130 feet, no problem. Let's go back to the couch and I'll give you my final thoughts and opinions on this blaster. All right, you guys, so there is a lot to love about the Venom Pro. I mean, it is a small package. It hits around 130 FPS. So much good going on here. But there's one major issue with this blaster, and I don't know if it's just my model or if it's a thing going on with a lot of people's, but this rev trigger, it's different and it doesn't work as well as I'd like it to, unfortunately. I thought it was a cool idea. I thought that, oh yeah, that makes sense. You grip it and it immediately revs, but like I'm gripping it right now. No rev, no rev, no rev, no rev. Left hand, no rev, no rev. I'm gripping it pretty hard. I'm gripping a lot. There's a lot of pressure, no rev. If I don't push up, it does not rev. That's weird because that is not something you do when you grab your blaster out of a holster and you just pull and want to fire. You're not going to want to push up with your webbing. So I don't know if there's something going on with my switch here. I don't know. Like I could probably remove this piece and look at it, but this is weird. Like if I push directly there, it should rev, but it is definitely not doing anything when I push directly side. So that's a little unfortunate. I'm hoping that, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that this is just an issue with mine. My guess is it may be 50-50. We'll see. All in all, I do love this blaster besides that problem. Everything else I think is great. I mean, the blaster is accurate. The new darts are really good. They're probably actually better than in springers than they are in a flywheel blaster. Bamboo darts you don't really need for a flywheel blaster, but you know, they probably just didn't need to make two different types of darts, obviously. So they just included them in the Venom Pro, but you know, those seem to be solid. I think the ergonomics of the blaster is great. The comfort is pretty solid. The grip is not bad considering it's a mag and grip blaster. I would say it's not as comfortable as the Worker Nightingale. Obviously that has a really nice grip on it. One of the best things about the Nightingale is that rubber grip and the comfort of it. But all in all, this isn't bad. It's really good quality. I would say Dart Zone, if people don't realize this by now, Dart Zone's quality is on par, if not better than Nerf is doing. Probably better than Nerf is doing at this point. So know that this is not any sort of budget line. It's not budget at all. This is high quality stuff. They do good work at Dart Zone. So really nice quality. You know, they are doing the same sort of things as Nerf does for the most part, using plastic in different portions to color their blasters rather than paint, which I don't mind at all. I think that's a nice thing. I really like the Venom Pro gray plastic here inside the green plastic there, and then also this light gray plastic. You know, really nice looking blaster in my opinion, and very practical. Loved it. We have actual Picatinny rail on top here. You know, there's a sling point, thumb screw, awesome. Rechargeable battery, awesome. Everything is, there's so much good going on with this blaster. It's just unfortunate that this rev trigger, it just doesn't want to rev when I push this way. I mean, I don't know, weird. Mag release is only on this side, but I do think it's fine left-handed. You just have to push with your pinky or your middle finger, I would say, not your pinky, your middle finger here rather than your thumb if you're right-handed, and the magazine falls right out. So, I mean, really easy to reload. There really isn't much of a flare. There's a slight flare to the mag well, but you know, that makes sense. That, I mean, it takes a little getting used to find the grip there, but you know, not bad at all. These magazines are awesome, way better than the Worker and Nightingale magazines, at least the ones I have to compare to, which are the original ones. Not sure how those new ones are doing. I know they have the bumpers on them, which is cool, but I don't know if the feeding has been fixed or not. I just know, like, every magazine I've purchased brand new out of the box has not fed consistently. These had no issue. This hitting 130 FPS I think is great. I think that's a great FPS to be hitting out of the box. I think that's perfect because that allows people to use them at lower FPS games if they want to play under 150, if they want to play under 130, obviously, like most HVZ is. And I think that's where I use this sidearm like this the most, is for HVZ style games. For high FPS games, this is still a great sidearm because you're probably going to pull it when you're doing something up close. It's a secondary, you know, perfect for that. So 130 FPS I think is perfect for this. The accuracy is right there, no issues at all. I did run this thing on 3S and I would not recommend doing that. I had some issues and I decided it wasn't worth really experimenting more with. It gave me a lot of runaway. I would pull the trigger like I wanted to fire one dart and it just kept firing, and that is going to be an issue if you're trying to use this at a higher voltage. Obviously you're going to have higher FPS, which you could see. You're going to have higher rate of fire, but if it runs away, you can't control your blaster. Obviously it's probably damaging the motors and will not work as long or as well over time. So I would highly recommend keeping this at 2S or with the battery that's included. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can pick up a 2S LiPo if you have an issue with your battery, or if you just use LiPo batteries and you prefer those. I'll put a link in the description where you can pick up a 2S LiPo. I'll be picking one up for this if I can get this rev trigger to work properly. All in all, I love this blaster, but this rev trigger is a major issue because if it doesn't rev, it doesn't fire, and if it doesn't fire, it's a big problem. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you have this same problem, or if you push yours right here and it revs, it's just fine. Maybe it's just my issue. Maybe I need to pick up another one, try to dual wield these things, because this could be awesome for dual wielding. Yeah, I think the rev situation is weird. I'm thinking a lot of people might pick this up if they have this problem and think their blaster doesn't work. So hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, please leave a like on this. It really helps out the channel. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I need to improve. I love you guys so much, and I appreciate everyone that watches. But I'll leave a link in the description box to where you can pick one of these up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Smash that like button. Please subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications. And as always, peace out.